Fox News alert for you. History made on Capitol Hill overnight as the House prepares to vote for a second time on the most sweeping tax overhaul in decades. So what does it really mean for our wallets? Helping to break it all down is CPA and business analyst Dan Geltrude. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it this morning. It was a long night.
Yes, it was. Just a couple hours ago before they had the vote.
And still not over. We expected it to be over, but because of some technical snafus and this Byrd rule, it now will have to go back to the House, correct?
Yes. It's always the Senate rules that put a glitch into things. So, yes, it'll be back in the House, and I don't think there's any question it's going to pass today.
Okay, so we can skip past that, but let's talk about what is now in it, and specifically go first of all to the individual tax brackets, and take us through some of that.
Okay, so what we have originally was 7 tax brackets. Now, the House originally said they were going to take it down to 4, simplify.
Right, we talked about that.
We're going to file on a postcard.
Yeah.
Now we're back to 7 tax brackets again. I don't know why. It makes things complicated, but that's where we are.
So 7 tax brackets, you can see some of them there, and that's just for individuals, and then you have the joint tax brackets as well.
Yes.
The joint tax brackets, and there are now, what, 7 of those as well?
Well, yes, they correspond together.
Okay.
So there's 7 tax brackets, and it falls into either you're single or you're married. So it's basically just
So that was one of the promises not kept. And then there's this other fact. Some people are saying 80% of taxpayers will get a tax cut in 2018. But then if you listen to someone like Nancy Pelosi, she says that that's not true. So what's true here?
I don't think Nancy Pelosi's right on this. I do believe that 80% or some number close to that will get tax benefit. And the reason I say that is because the vast majority of people do not itemize their deductions. So if they're not itemizing their deductions and
so
now they're getting
they already weren't getting one then.
Well, right. Okay. So now what happens is the standard deduction has gone higher, so they benefit there, and the tax rates have come down. So 80% of the people will get a tax benefit.
And who are those people, though? Are they middle-class Americans, or are they the extremely wealthy?
Well, they're going to be predominantly middle-class Americans because those are the people who are not itemizing their deductions.
Okay. So who is not included in that? Who is not getting a tax break?
Who is not getting a tax break is high earners, not super wealthy, high earners in high tax states like where we are in New York and California, New Jersey. Those people are going to have tax increases.
Okay. And then we also were discussing a couple other things that are still in it. There's the alternative minimum tax and then the carried interest rules.
Right. So the alternative minimum tax, that was one promise that the president has made that was going out. It's back in. Why is that problematic? Is because it's a parallel calculation to your regular tax. So what ends up happening is you're doing 2 tax calculations to make sure that you're paying the minimum amount of tax. Now, for
that's more work.
That is more work, so accountants are going to stay in business for a while. So then the carried interest rules, that was made famous by Warren Buffett when he said, you know, my tax rate is lower than my secretary. The carried interest rules benefit the super wealthy who get all of their income from investments. So they're paying their rates at capital gains. So Warren Buffett is paying at a lower rate than we are. It's just not fair. It was promised that was coming out, and it's still in there.
Yeah, I know Trish Regan on our business channel is very upset, up in arms about it. I mean, she is, because it's true. You know, you have someone extremely wealthy in New York State or New York City who is making, you know, all of these, or is able to use that, and then you have a firefighter or a police officer who is paying more tax. It's
She's
just
100%
not fair.
right.
It's not true. All right. Dan, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it this morning. We'll see what happens. Back to the House. Well, now this Fox News